Prosecco and a hat just to celebrate the 100th episode.
I've just got this vision of us sitting on these like sofas. We'll come on, just INSPIRATION music. We'll sit on these sofas and have an audience there. We'll support it, we'll improve and develop.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a major benefit to my life personally, and I'd like to hope that we've helped some other people as well. Cheers, you though.
Cheers.
Cheers. But yes, thank you very much for listening this week, guys. While Joe digests what he's just eaten. Inspiration Nation, hello. Welcome back to another week on the podcast. This is a very special week this week. Joined with just Joe this week. There's no Lee. He's taking a week out. He's not feeling too well. Pretty poor week to not feel too well, bless him. But I'm sure, or I hope, he's back next week with some party poppers and some Prosecco and a hat just to celebrate the 100th episode of this podcast. We're nearly 2 years down the line since we started, so it's just a bit of a reflection week this week, I think. But you can reach us at listen TOIN on Instagram and Twitter, and you can reach Joe directly by pretty much putting Jose Noya in any of your social media outlets. How are you doing today, Joe?
Yeah, I'm good, Brian. Yeah, how are you? It's an amazing day, isn't it? But how are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Feeling pretty positive this week. It's always a bit of an anxious time hosting this because I don't feel like I can do a better job than the big man. But yeah, it's nice to be here. Maybe he might join us in the Instagram live. Maybe if he has time for us, if he's feeling well enough, bless him. But if not, we'll power through. What about you? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, absolutely good. You know, it's amazing we got to the 100th episode. I just want to send a lot of love to Lee. I know not able to join us, right? But you know, we always want to make sure he keeps all right. And as I say, you know, we always learn from him in terms of how we host. And Ryan, you're doing an absolutely amazing job, my friend. An amazing job. So it's always great, and I love it that we're a trio, and it's evolved over time over the 100 episodes. So, you know, guys, can I just say something that I've got a lot of love for you guys. I mean, you know, we've gone through a lot together over these past episodes. You know, we've got some great stories, of course.
Stories about a good few for sure.
Oh my word, you know. So when we go on tour with this, because that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Go on tour. I've just got this vision of us sitting on these like sofas. We'll come on, just INSPIRATION music, and we'll sit on these sofas and have an audience there. We'll support it, we'll improve and develop. I think it'd just be an amazing thing. But I was going to ask you a question. Right, what's the sort of most memorable moment for you in terms of, you know, the podcast, and you know what stands out for you?
That's quite a good question. I think I really quite enjoyed how it's evolved. Like maybe there isn't a standout moment specifically for me that I couldn't recall upon, but I think how we've all evolved, A, as people, and B, as a podcast. I think we're entirely different people to how we were, or to who we were like 2 years ago. So it's good to know that we've kind of taken steps forward in our lives and our careers, and I definitely pay homage to this podcast and you two for helping me get kind of where I am in my career. And I'd like to think that there are some decisions that you and Lee may have made that are reflective of your relationship with me and us, really, you know. So yeah, I think it's definitely been a major benefit to my life personally, and I'd like to hope that we've helped some other people as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's been great, you know, because Ryan, you've had a lot of value, and I think because, you know, we've all got like our generational gaps, right? You know,
yeah,
you know, it goes on about Joe, you're the old one, right? And Lee wants to come along with you, didn't he? He likes to hang on to your youngness, right? Oh, the same thing. And I think it's great because it's like a nice period of time between us all, so we can all look almost like generations about people coming through. That I can go back to the 90s and the way, you know, work and business has evolved. It's been quite a transition, and we can talk about things now and how things have changed. But now you can also provide a perspective on that, because there's a lot of people. I think Lee talked about it as well. That, you know, for you, it's like you're gonna have a different perspective, because we try and think back when we were like your age and go, what were we like? You know, we would be chasing money and things like that. And actually, Lee and I always say that, you know, we wish we had, you know, what you've got right now, that real self-awareness at your age, because I don't think, you know, we could have articulated ourselves as well as you have over the podcast at your age. And I think that's something that's a credit to you, and you've been willing to grow, right? So it's all well and good saying, oh, you know, I want to succeed, I want to do well. But you've got to put yourself out there. And I think you put yourself out there. And I know sometimes actually you found it uncomfortable to put yourself out there. But then as you grow through the podcast, you said, you know what, I'm putting it out there. And actually, I think what I did is what did I put out there? Like, I put out an old podcast episode. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, where we're sitting in Lee's front room, and you're talking.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. I think I saw it the other day.
Habits, and the difference between then and now is huge. It's huge. It's fantastic to see. And I just want to say, you know, thanks very much for you know, for being on in and agreeing to, you know, to be part of, you know, the team. We're all a big team, really. And so that team ethos is so important, because you help with the technical stuff, you give us guidance on, you know, what things should sound like, and this is why we're here, right? Because we, you know, no matter what happens, we put up an episode. Like, one of us will do it. If I can't make it, you and Lee will do it. You know, if just one of us has to do it, one of us will do it. And I think that's what I love about it. And I think we've all got our skills to bring. And I think, you know, for you guys out there listening to now, you can do this stuff. We created this stuff from nothing. It's just been resourcefulness. You know, we've used all the tools that are available on the internet to get this up and running. And it's 100 podcasts. You know, and Ryan, I just wanted to give you a bit of an accolade, because I think, and I still think you're great. I think you've been really honest. You know, you've been really honest about where you are. So, but that takes a lot of courage, right?
Yeah, I didn't think it was codswallop at the start or anything like that, but I'd never considered the things that we talk about as being parameters to what I need to focus on to be successful. I think I kind of touched on it previously, but I think it took a few weeks of being on the podcast and stuff, but eventually I fully bought into the idea that if I want to improve myself, this is where I start. And I think I sat there and realized that I've got two, you know, really successful people that I partner this podcast on, and that are of different generational age groups, but the common denominator is that they're both older than me, so they both have more experience in life, work. We all work in the same industry, so they're really good people to buy into as kind of friends, if you like. And I definitely have made friendships with the pair of you, like, over the past 100 weeks, and it's probably a little bit longer that we've kind of been talking and stuff. We're probably approaching a 2-year mark that we've known each other, but like recorded episodes that have gone out weekly, yeah, we're here or thereabouts, I think. But it's good that that I think we've kind of developed, because I don't think it would have gone on as long as it has without us getting on so well with each other. You know, one of us may have pulled out if you know, the rapport maybe wasn't there, but luckily it is. So I'm definitely glad to have met the pair of you, and well, I kind of knew Lee from work, but you specifically, Joe, and I think, as I say, I've forged a good friendship with the pair of you. Lee and I work together well at work when we do stuff together. So, you know, we've definitely improved things all around, for sure.
Well, I remember Lee saying, actually, and we'll go back to what Ian said, oh, we need someone to do the audio, you know, and Lee immediately thought of you. Like, I've got someone in mind who would be a perfect fit. And so, you know,
Lee's that kind of guy, though, I think, isn't he? Like, if you need someone, Lee knows someone.
Yeah.
Like, Lee just knows someone that can do something. But yeah. I remember we were still working in an office, and He asked me to come with him into a meeting room, and I thought I'd done something really terrible.
That's good. What did you think?
And other people were following us in because I think he was having a conversation with someone. He was like, "Oh, I just need to check in with Ryan about this work project that he's doing." And I was like, "Oh God, okay." I'm really, really worried because this has never happened before. And he sat me down. And he was like, "So, I have this friend. And I was like, oh, "Okay."
Call me a friend then. Oh, he called me a friend.
Yeah. We got talking about it. He asked me if I knew anything about podcasts, if I listened to any, if it was up my street, if I knew what to do with them. I blagged it, and he doesn't know this. I blagged it, and I said, "Yeah, I had no idea. had absolutely no idea what I was doing." But I was
so basically, it was interviewing for you for this job. Then have you listened to podcasts? Sound like a bit of an interview.
Yeah, it wasn't that intense or anything like that. It was look, is this something you'd be good at, something you'd be interested in? Blagged it completely. I'd never listened to a podcast before I'd done this. I listen to them quite frequently now, to be fair, but I'd never listened to a podcast before doing this. Didn't know how to edit one. I knew how to do videos and stuff. I'm quite good with videos and things, and I had a good idea of how I could piece it together, but I didn't have expertise in putting them together, you know. Like Lee knew that I was into videography and stuff, but I blagged it. I didn't want him to think that I wasn't a good for nothing. We so yeah, I got involved, watched how to edit some stuff together, and kind of went from there.
What a great thing, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I was at a point where I was just blagging it faking it till I make it, really. Thought it'd get me a good few brownie points, because I say we'd worked together on a few projects at work, and I was like, "Oh, he's actually a really nice guy." I didn't be like, "Oh, he'd be somebody I'd want to be a friend with," or anything like that at the time, because he was like my boss's boss or whatever, something stupid like that. But it was somebody that I definitely wanted to have a good relationship with. Definitely somebody that I thought that if we met outside of work, we'd get on well. So I was more than happy to get involved. And I'm not the only person that's developed in that way. I've never listened back to the first podcast. I don't have it anymore because my computer corrupted, if you remember. But
if you go to InspirationNation.org.uk, Ryan, and go back to it.
Yeah, I could do that. But I meant the ramblings before, and the bless him, and we've got to start again. I messed it up. We've got to start it again.
Because that was Lee was going, "Oh, Ryan, can you please edit this?" And I remember that very first episode.
Yeah.
That would, you know what, that would have been classic. That would have been good bonus episodes, I think. That would have been great bonus episodes.
Yeah, but it took him like 10, 15 weeks, and eventually he went, "You know what? If there's a mistake, there's a mistake. We're just dealing with it." And I was like, finally.
Oh, right, you come in.
Yeah,
let's say it's really weird, because we're really keen on trying to get out the perfect podcast, and we just said, "Oh well, rewind Ryan." Ryan did it, and the thing is, at the end of it, we just decided to go with quite a free flowing type podcast. We want to be ourselves. We don't want to plan it. And actually, before we didn't have a script. Even before we didn't have a script, I had a little schedule I'd keep to. Right, I'd have little notes. I don't have any notes. And that is a real, that for me, for the podcast, is like a real big thing. So before the podcast, I'd have to have everything structured. So so train and coach, and everything super structured. I needed that as a safety net. And so, but now I don't have that. I'm really this has really taught me, by having a podcast and speaking, about your thoughts and how you articulate, has really given me a skill of actually being able to rewire a little bit, and actually being real about what you're thinking at the time, and how you can, what is coming to your mind when someone asks you a question. What's coming deep from inside to answer what's the genuine you, right? Because it doesn't matter who you are. I'm Joe, right? You're Ryan, Lee's Lee, and we are going to take in the same sort of information, but we'll synthesize it and bring it out in a different way. And this is what this podcast is about. We want you to connect with the podcast if you like how we, communicate, because that's what it's about. And I've learned so much, a bit like you, Ryan, that that it's all about being genuine, authentic, and we shared some stories. I've shared quite a lot of what I've been through, and you have as well. And I think that for me is being genuine, and really thinking about our listeners and thinking, guys, we are just three normal guys that have just decided to do a podcast, and we have basically done it on a budget, with the resources we have. And this is what we wanted to prove, that if you can imagine something, you can create something. And if you're persistent, you can create something that actually, means something. And I can honestly say, and I think Lee posted it in the, we got a little IN chat, haven't we, Ryan? And he posted that lovely review. Someone put a 5-star review to the podcast, didn't they? How they thought how good it was. And it was just that sort of thing shows we're making an impact. We always said, and we always said that as long as you help one person, that's why we do the podcast. Like if this podcast helps, or this podcast helps one person, then that's what we want. And it's been helping loads and loads of people. People have been commenting, on the videos that I do. People got a lot of love for the podcast. And so, when we first started, say, well, if you could get like one 5-star review, would you be happy? We'll say, absolutely happy, right? And now we've got, I don't know how many we've got now, but we've got at least 2, I think, probably, maybe 3. But this is great because our 100th episode, and it just shows you're persistent, you're committed, you make sure it happens, things will start to happen. And this is what's happening. And as I say, I think it's like, I just can't ever see this stopping. And I'm just really excited about where is it going to be in another year, Ryan? Where do you think it's going to be in another year? I suppose, like, because I think I've got a view where I'd like it to be. I think I've told you at the beginning of the podcast. I think. Where do you see it going? Where would you like it? I mean, actually, where would you love it to be?
I think there's always. I'm quite a heavy realist, so I know what's reasonable in 12 months and what's asking the impossible, shall we say? But. Yeah. I'd like to see us kind of regularly and what is the word? Regularly and kind of continuously improve on our listener count each week. The wider the audience spread, the more chance of more people getting hold of it and listening to it, and then it exponentially grows. And I think it's just kind of growing those listening numbers and building on the community that we've kind of started and that we kind of have around us. I think that's kind of where I would love it to be. If in an ideal world, no kind of parameters kind of barred, I'd like us to have like 100,000 downloads a week or something stupid like that. But I don't even know if Joe Rogan gets things those kind of numbers. So
Joe Rogan he must get huge numbers.
He'll get massive numbers, yeah, for sure. But I think I'd just like to see us take a step in the. Whilst we've taken loads of steps in the right direction, a step in the direction that we're actually expanding our fan base is the wrong word, but expanding our listener base, kind of wider, because that's kind of what I'd like to see. What about you?
So, yeah, I like that. So on that point, Ryan, if you're listening, make sure you share this podcast with us. Nina, welcome to the podcast. I'll give you a little shout out. Hey, Nina, welcome. See, Nina is one of our regular watchers on here. Always comes on every week without fail. Nina comes on. So this is what I'm talking about, community, right? So on your point, Ryan, actually, I've listened to a bit of Tim Ferriss and all that type of thing. Hey, Farty, how you doing, Farty? How you doing? That's a good buzz. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the 100th podcast. Yeah, you're on the 100th episode. So, now I did sort of connect with some people here. Oh look. Lauren's joined. Thank you, Lauren, for joining. This is fantastic. Look at that. It's the 100th podcast episode. Anyway, I've really lost myself, but I was going to just share it with other people. Oh, look, Stefan's joined. Look, everyone's joining the podcast live. Fantastic. So you just said to me, where would I like it to be? Is that right?
Yeah, I did.
I want to be, oh, look, Jackie, welcome to the podcast. You know where I'd like it to be? Oh, Jackie. Used to work with Jackie. Hello. So yeah, I'd like it to be across everywhere. I'd love it to be across everywhere. I'd love it to be like you say. I want it to be everywhere. I want it to be like a brand. Your recent hairstyle seems fascinating. I know it's just getting a bit long. definitely. I'd like it to be everywhere. I'd like the brand Inspiration Nation just to go, massive on the podcast. I'd like it to go across all the platforms because everyone knows them all across all platforms doing daily videos. So as part of that, I think the podcast is driving all that, where we can feel inspired. And I want people to get this daily in their daily inbox so they can just go to it, put it on, feel inspired, and know there's 3 normal guys just doing this stuff, putting it out there, putting their hearts out there to everybody, and just knowing, hey, things are possible. And I love it because Ryan gives us a bit of balance here. Because Ryan, like he said, he's a, what did you say, like realist? Did you say
realist was the word I used? Yeah.
So Ryan tends to bring me down a little bit, which is great because he gives me a little bit of like a balance in equilibrium. Because he knows I get a bit excited, don't you, Ryan? I get a bit excitable, don't I? You must admit.
A little bit, yeah. I don't think I'm here to bring you down. That's not what I'd say. I think I'd
say balance out. I'd say balance.
Yeah, I think I'm just here to put a level eye on things, maybe.
Yeah, because there's times when me and Ryan have had discussions, good discussions, because I've gone, let's put it out, and Ryan's going, hang on a minute, this video quality needs to be improved, and it's great because Ryan will always be constantly at the quality, which is good. I'm more of the thing of quantity, get it out there, be heart on your sleeve. If there's make mistakes, let's put it out there because I want it to be really good. Ryan's not saying, okay, I get it, but let's just make sure this goes out with nice audio because it's a podcast, right? So there's always this lovely balance we've got between each other, and we will always respect each other's views. And I think this is something we can always listen to each other because we're a team, right? So we always look into each other. Like there's one actually that we talked about Twitch, didn't we, Griffey? We talked about Twitch. And you said, well, we're not going to go live on the Twitch because it wasn't really working, was it? And you said, oh, let's scrap that. So we've not gone on Twitch since then, have we?
No, I think it's just because I don't think it's a platform for us, really. It's more long form content on there. And it's just, I just don't think it's one for us. If we were doing a 3-hour podcast, then yeah, sure, maybe that might work for us. But people that are watching Twitch, I don't really drop in for, for 20, 30-minute podcasts that we kind of aim to put out.
Well, you never know in the future, right? That could be a future thing, do a 3-hour podcast. We've been doing guests and stuff like that. That was a new addition in these sort of later ones.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. We started, it was just, like just me and Lee, and then we had, like, say, Ryan was editing, and then we thought, do you know what? We had a great conversation. Ryan came and said, let's have a 3. We got together 3, and then it's evolved, and then we've gone, tell you what, let's have a. I think Lee did the first one. Didn't he do the first one with? Did he do the first one? The first interview, was it Lee?
Yeah, he did it with the gentleman that was talking about Lyme disease, if I remember rightly.
Yeah,
I've forgotten the guy's name.
Ethan Cope, wasn't it?
Ethan, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I remember. Right, I remembered. Look at that. I feel like I'm remembering some of these episodes. But yeah, Lyme disease does not exist. That was our first sort of interview, and then from there we started having interviews. So we've interviewed people like Live Angela. She's on Instagram, so check her out. We've interviewed Lucy, who owes Freedom 3 Straw. We're going to give some fresh out.
Actually, I've missed someone. There was an interview before Ethan.
Oh, there was. Oh, I think I've missed someone out. Oh, I could be totally.
You could be in a bit of trouble here. That's my fault. That is.
No, it's not your fault. I should remember. Go on, you say it because I know what you reminded me now.
It was. I can't remember what episode number it was. I feel like it was 13. Lee would correct me if I was right or wrong, but it was your daughter, Joe, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. So anxiety, right? I think it was that episode.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with it now, and again, this is episode 100. Can you believe it? 100. So welcome everybody that's joined us today. But now even with the pandemic, and we're in the middle of the pandemic. So people are really suffering with this stuff, and we back then were talking about it. How people suffer from it, how we can cope with it. And so if you do want to, like say, Ryan or maybe this, but go back, listen to that. It's my daughter. Lots of things have changed since then. Lots of growing up's been happening in terms of.
It'll be good to maybe have her back. To see what the see how she is now, because it's been it must been about 80 weeks.
That's over a year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like 18 months and 20 months.
Wow. So maybe I could do that. I'll have to just see if I'll approach my daughter, maybe get her as another guest and see if it's joined. A lot of changes happened. Quite nice to sort of record that journey. So that'd be good. Yeah. So lots of changes on the podcast. We've been putting them. We've had a couple of YouTube channels.
Yeah, that one's definitely my fault.
We all have these.
I forgot the password to one of them.
But this is the beauty of it, though, isn't it? This is the beauty of it. That, like, look, it's not perfect, right? We forget passwords. Like, we decide we're going to think, are we going to have like the podcast recording in full? We're going to have a little clip, or we're going to have it on, because I got a channel up and running. We're going to have it on there. So we decided in the end that we put it all in one place. When it blows up, we might think, okay, what are we going to do with it now? So again, it's all those little steps, like you were talking about, Ryan. You're talking about little steps at a time, and as you take those steps over time, that's when you change and you just pivot at those times. And I think that's really, that's something that that I'm really, really keen about. So that's what that's what I think. So thinking back, Ryan, what episode do you think that stood out for you? Then, what episode of the podcast stood out for you? Do you think, just it doesn't have to be, like, don't quote the number, just which one off the top of your head do you think? Or if I was going to think of an episode, that's the one that sticks out for me. Me neither. What's like that? Oh.
It's a really good question, that is.
I think I've stumped Ryan.
Yeah, you stumped me.
Whilst you're thinking, Ryan, I'm going to say, hi, Nina. Yeah, thanks. So Nina's just saying, Ryan, admiring our consistency and effort in doing all this. Thank you. Oh, that's really. We appreciate you, Nina. Really, honestly, it's a lot of love to you, because I know that you are always consistent in your support. And I know we connect over Instagram and stuff like that. And I know you're on your sugar challenge. I don't know what day you're on, but keep going with that. It's amazing. Go on, Griffey. I've just interrupted you. Did you have it? Did you have something?
I don't have a specific topic, but I think I don't remember the time that it was, but I'm sure there was a time that I kind of opened up a bit more about kind of how I am and how I act and stuff, and I think I had a bit of a deep conversation about things, and it was kind of good to get that kind of information out in the air. I think I can't remember what episode number it was or what we were talking about, but I remember I started talking about things, different parts of my life and stuff, and it got quite deep, and I think looking back, I enjoyed being able to talk that freely about it, and know that I still had the support of you guys, because not often I open up about things. And that's pretty much for me where I am. What about you?
To me, there's been quite a few. I mean, the one I just, what I was thinking? I love the 16 personalities one. I found out more about you in that episode. I know you.
That's a good answer, actually. I didn't think of that one, but yes, go on.
Yeah, because for me, like, I was just, it was quite nice to redo mine, because I've done it before. I've done similar things, and it's a free window online, 16 personalities. You can all do it yourselves.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really interesting to have a good conversation, and from that I knew you before, but to actually have that as a discussion piece for the podcast, and actually we're being open about, no, I agree with that, I don't agree with that, and I think there were things that we agree, and that made me get to know you more, right? And obviously Lee, because even though you like work with people for a long time, there's still things that you think, oh yeah, And there was one episode where I think it was the Robin Sharma episode. I think you might not be, I don't think we were on that one. It was just me and Lee, but we're talking about habits again. I think it was some sort of habits thing, and it said habits for 2021. I think it was, and he was going, which one do you think it is for me? And then I said, I think it was, and I listened back to the episode. I thought, do you know, I should have spotted that, because I'd read the 16 person. He said, which one of these is the one that's most important? We read out a long list, and I said to Lee, I think it's clearing your emails. It's going to be the thing you're going to concentrate. Clearing your emails because you're getting distracted. He said, no, it's not. It's about leaving people in a better position than they were. That's what I think he worked on, and I should have picked up on that because of his personality type. And it just goes to show that even though you think you know one really well, you can sort of fall into that almost what you think it might be, rather than actually taking your time to actually really think about the answer. So for me, it's reflecting back on that, 16 personalities for me is a really good thing. And I still look back at that, and I think that's a really great thing. And I love those types of things, because I think it gives a lot of insight into all of us. So for me, the 16 personalities, but there's been some really good ones. I've enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the habits one, where we talked about. Which I think Robin Sharp. It took about 3 episodes to like. Do you remember that one? It's about 3 episodes just to get through. How many habits were this? Like 20 or something?
25. It was definitely more than 3 episodes as well. I think it was about 5 or 6 in the end.
Oh, really? Wow. So I don't know what episodes they were, right, but they were quite good. So I really enjoyed those, and as I say, I never get. I just will never don't get tired of talking about how we're feeling. And that thing you said about being open, and now because we know this goes out on the internet, right? So anybody can go on the internet and look up this, and you're telling the internet how you're feeling, what's going on, and there is a bit of liberation in it. Now, when do in your days? I mean, we're quite lucky nowadays because working industries we are. I mean, I'm very lucky where I am because of where I'm industries I am. We talk about this a lot, but before that, I never had a place where I could really talk deeply about what am I actually thinking, what am I feeling, how can I express this? Because I need to go deeper into who I am so I can get this out and sort, is this what I really am? Am I articulating it right? Where's my growth? We talked about habits. We talked about how we can challenge ourselves. And do I really want to do that? Do I really want to have cold showers? Right? I talked myself into cold showers on this podcast. Can you believe that? Right? So all these types of things we've done, running, all sorts. I know Lee did a little video around that. Ryan with his waking up in the morning, right? How many alarms is it? Is it still there, my alarms?
8.
8. Was it always 8? I can't remember. Was it 8 or has it gone down? Is it still?
No,
8?
it's pretty much always been 8, I think.
But that's the time in the podcast. So you said you were getting up at.
What I would say though is that this week I've been up at 7 o'clock both days. First alarm, I've been up and out of bed. So it's because I've got a lot to do at work. So I forced myself to get up on the first alarm and have a shower and get on to work.
Oh, and the coffee. Don't forget the coffee.
Drop back off of that. Now I'm eating well.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, I don't need it. I don't feel like I need a coffee in that. I suppose if I woke up really tired one day, I'd be able to have one. But I don't. I did it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, I don't need it.
So that's really good. I like that because you're trying lots of different things. You think, well, do I try the coffee? Do we like it? And I know in that podcast I said to you, are you trying coffee because of the pressures of the society to have a coffee because people around you are drinking coffee, or is it that you wanted to really do it? And you know what I really love about that, Ryan, is that you chose and say, look, this is worth for me. You tried it. Nah, I'm going to go with food, good food or whatever. And I think, I really love that. It just shows that you're not falling. You might just try something on, like try the hat on, and then you just try something different. But I really like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like that. Go on, you're going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just looking to wrap up. Really, we're reaching our time.
Are we?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me, or?
Just quickly, go on. I want to celebrate the 100th episode of the podcast. I've got these things called moon. I think they're super rare or something. Moon something. I don't know what they call them. Ryan, you know about these, don't you? Moon something.
I don't know anything about these. I won't lie.
Well, apparently they're on the internet. Little moons are going crazy. You can't get it for love nor money. Apparently, little moons. By the way, Nina, yeah, we do like Peter Kay likes to link the Tinternet. Definitely agree with you. I'm glad you're on day 80 as well. Just give you a shout out of that. Brilliant. I only have 10 days to go. Oh, I'd love to know how that happens after. Tell us. But anyway, this won't go down with you, Nina. So this is my celebration. Sorry, Ron, I can't share it with you. I would halve it and send it to you, but I can't.
It'll probably go off by the time it gets here.
It's gone really soft. This is the moon. The moon. What's it called? Moon? Did I say moonshot? I can't remember what it is. So, do you know what is it a moonshot?
Little moon, I think you said.
Moonshot. I'm thinking of like going large, going big. I think I'm thinking of Elon Musk or something at the time. But anyway, congratulations on the 100th episode, Inspiration Nation. Yeah, I'd like to do a cheers with you. Oh, have you got a cup? You got a cup or anything?
Yeah, I've got a glass. It's empty though.
Come on in, cheers.
I'll cheers you though.
Cheers.
Cheers. But yes, thank you very much for listening this week, guys. While Joe digests what he's just eaten. We are Inspiration Nation. We're live on Joe's Instagram every week, Tuesday night, 8:30. Or if you're in the States, it's 3:30 Eastern time. I think Lee's been trying to tell me. we are at Listen to IN on Instagram and Twitter, and Joe is at Jose Noya on pretty much all of the social medias if you search him up. I'm pretty sure that's everything I meant to cover off when doing this.
You had 2 time zones, or did you argue 3? Did you argue 3?
I thought there was only 2, but he told me there was actually 3. So he's the smarter guy. So I'll probably say he's right. I won't like admitting that, and hopefully he never hears that. But I said it.
You know he's going to listen to this back and call you out on that next episode.
Yeah. Hopefully he forgets. But yes, I think all I've got left to say is 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys later.
Hello, Instagram. Thanks for watching.
I hope you enjoyed that inspirational episode of the podcast. If you want to catch more of the episodes, please click this link here, right here. You'll catch even more. And also don't forget to subscribe, because that'll mean a lot to me. And also you get even more inspirational content. So until next time, keep inspired. I'll catch you over there.